little background. I don't about the motel. I was trying to get a few facts from her. Jerome grew up with me there at the motel, and so he might know some too. But as far as I know, my mom and dad bought the motel, which is the Western Lodge. To me, it's always the motel because it was Western Motel. She renamed it the Blue Spruce Lodge at some point, and then now I see it's called the Western Lodge, so I don't know. But she bought it with my dad in 1978, and I was 6 at the time. And so, I mean, I loved growing up here. I was here from 1st grade through 5th grade, and then my parents divorced, and I moved to San Francisco area with my mom and her boyfriend at the time, and my dad moved to Maryland where he kind of grew up. So I had a long 5-hour trip every Christmas and summer between San Francisco to Maryland, and sometimes I'd come here in the summer to stay at the motel. And boy, I have really nice memories of this special town, and I actually grew up in this church, so this is kind of surreal for me to be back here. I remember Mrs. Richardson, wasn't the piano over there at some point? Yeah, I remember playing a solo on the was it this same piano, you think, or was it? Oh, how special. So I'm gonna play a Bach piece for you all later, because I've gone on to become a piano major at Santa Cruz, south of San Francisco, and I don't know why there's such feedback. Is it better if I stand back? Do you still hear me okay? Okay. Okay, I think it's just feedback for me. Yeah. So just tell me if it hurts your ears. And Mrs. Richardson was my 1st grade teacher, so it's so special for me to have her here. She loved any life. She thought all life deserved to live, you know. And I just think it's so special that you're all here in honor of her, because I believe she touched each of your lives in some special way, and I'd love to hear about it if you're able to talk or willing to share. If not, we'll talk downstairs. There will be a luncheon served after the memorial that is put on by the church, so I thank you all for that, for the church ladies and men that put that on. Thank you very much, and the little one in the back too. I'm trying to think what else I really wanted to say. I mean, there's so much about my mom. I'm really proud of her. She had such a love for humanity and people that she finally went back and got her master's while I think I was in high school or junior high. She got her master's in counseling with a specialty in drug and alcohol counseling, which is, I think, how she's helped so many people. And I would get so frustrated with her mom, like, really, you're letting someone else stay at the motel that can't pay? And she's like, that's my calling. That was just her gift to try to help as many people as she could, you know? And it's admirable. And I believe and pray she's really being rewarded in heaven, because I think it really hurt her, the stress of that all her life, you know? And she tried so hard. You guys, she was so strong. She was amazing. I always thought, I was strong when I play piano. I practice an hour a day, right? She could outlift anything. She was so strong, her little arms, because she worked really hard at the motel. And I know, like, JR did a lot of her electrical and grew up with her, but she could do tiling in the bathrooms, she could do roofing, she mowed, she could do anything. And I don't do anything. My poor house is in shambles because I don't have my stepdad, my adopted stepdad, ex-boyfriend's dad, it helps me. But no, my mom did all of that. She learned how to do all of that on her own. And I'm so proud of her, because I can't fix anything. I can't even nail it straight without, like, hitting my thumb. So I did not get that from her, for sure. Let me think what else I want to share about mom. I know what was important to my life is her and my dad bought me the piano that came from this church, and it's still at the motel in the cabin, and it's huge. It's like a giant. It's really tall, and I think it took 5 people to bring it in. So it's still there. It has ivory keys, and I still practice it, but Mom couldn't afford to get it tuned every year, you know, because it gets so cold and hot and all there at the motel. But it's still there, and she and my dad, even when they divorced, they kept up my love for music. My dad. It's so special to me. Thank you, Miss. Okay. I think I want to open it up the floor now lodge. Anybody that would like to share anything about my mom? I would love to hear from some of you. Thank you, Tommy.
Anyway, we were walking along the roads in the backyard of the back part of Seawell one day, and we were talking. All of a sudden, we said, "Well, we started talking about God, and God this and God that, and, how wonderful God was, and look at that beautiful sunrise and then the sunrise, and all of a sudden, I looked up and I saw those beautiful clouds up in the sky, and I said, "Would you look at that?" And she says, "Yeah." And she says, and I said, I think God just told me something. And she said, "What?" And she said, "Well, what was it, Gary?" And I said, "I think he told me that we don't have to call him God anymore. We can call him Daddy." And I said, and another thing he told me, he said, we can ask him for anything we need, and he's got a great big warehouse up in the sky that he's just willing to give anything we want. And she goes, "Oh, that's a good thing, And so we continued our walk home and everything. And a neighbor stopped by one day, and she said, "Hey, you guys, you want to go listen to this prophet in the Springs tonight?" And Lovey looked at me, and because we did a lot of adventures to different churches all over Colorado Springs, but I said, "Sure, let's go." So we went to this church, and it was down off of South Academy. It was just a hole in the wall, but there was this woman named Billy Brim. She was a prophet, very well known. And anyway, she was doing the service that night. And she was talking biblically things and telling us about things to come, and as prophets do. And all of a sudden she said, "But she says, I think God is a wonderful person." She says, "I'm going to call him Daddy, and I know that he's going to give you everything you need. All you got to do is ask him." And I looked at Lovey like, whoa, we just talked about that this afternoon. It was like confirmation. But Lovey and I had shared so much together. We went on different churches for different reasons. We were basically at this church for many years. And there was another time that I remember that was really kind of funny about Lovey. We were doing the roofs over on her lodge over there, we were building wooden roofs over the top of those. If you drive by there, you see the big roof on there. And anyway, we got to the middle building that was the ice cream shop, if you're all familiar with that. Well, we had taken all the stuff off the roof, all the shingles and all the stuff, so it was just down bare wood, flat. And late in that afternoon, I turned around and I said, "Oh, Lovey," I said, "I think we can finish the rest of this tomorrow." I looked around, I said, "There's not a cloud in the sky." I said, "No reason to worry." And she goes, "Well, you think so?" So here I am sleeping soundly. Oh, I was having a beautiful dream. All of a sudden the phone rings, and it's Lovey. And she said, Gary, you gotta get over here right now." I said, "Well, why? I said, "What time is it?" She said, "I don't know, but you gotta get over here right now. There's a big rain cloud right over the lodge. We're gonna get clobbered." I said, "Are you seriously? You want me to?" And she said, "Get over here right now." So I get over there, and sure enough, I just get there, and we look up, and all of a sudden this downpour happens. I mean, just buckets and buckets of rain. Here we are, both of us up there trying to have buckets, trying to get the water off the roof, right? Which is not going to happen. But we were trying to do what we could. We're getting both soaked, and we start laughing. I said, "Well, ain't much to do except for mop up this mess once we have the storm form." And she goes, "Yeah, I guess you're right." And so the next day, I come back, and she says, "Well, so much for not a cloud in the sky." I said, "Yeah, you're right, Lovey." But the best part I liked about Lovey was that she was always determined about doing things. And if all of you had known her, you would have known that she was determined no matter what, even if it looked like it was a bad thing to do. I convinced her many times not to do something that she was prepared to do. But she said, "No," she said, "God told me I need to do this." "Are you sure?" I even told her about, like you said about the people that she would let stay at the motel. There was a guy that stayed there probably close to a year, not paid a single dime. And I said, "When are you going to let him go?" She says, "Well, he says he's gonna get a job, he's gonna start paying me. And I said, well, I hope you're right, Lovey. And then it turned out, he did stay for a while. He did end up doing some work for her to get paid back. But Lovey was always so generous with her time, her effort, and also she would pray for anybody. Anybody that looked like had a sad face, she'd pull them over the corner and say, hey, we gotta pray right now. And, I would say, oh boy, here we go again. We get to restaurant or wherever, and she'd be grabbing my hand. She said, Gary, come on, we gotta go pray. I said, okay, so we go pray. But she was just a wonderful, wonderful person to know. Probably one of the finest people that I know that was had a big, good heart. I mean, she never lied to me. She never told me anything that wasn't true that she wouldn't do or would do. And so I always could confide in her whatever I had to talk to her about. And she was always right there to listen. And many times she stuck her neck out for me and did things for me. So I just think she's a wonderful person. I'm happy to be here today. I was sad to hear of her upcoming with this cancer and all this that happened. But I think that I know for a fact that she's okay. She's in a good place right now, and she's probably up there like walking dogs and just having a great time up there right now. I can just tell that she didn't let too many things hold her back. So even though she's up there, I still miss you, Lovey. So I hope that you look down on us once in a while and give us a prayer now and then. Thank you.
In November, but I had to come down to the motel instead. I wanted to be with Mom. So I wanted to still play this for you. I don't have it memorized anymore, so excuse the page turn. But it kind of reminds me of my mom because it's beautiful and stubborn at the same time, and it's ornamented. She was very much an ornamental kind of person, and it's got a lot of depth to it that I think my mom had. She had a lot of depth to her that she didn't really share with a lot of people. She was always more giving and worried about others. But she had a lot of heart, my mom, and I just kind of wanted to play this for you. It's short, it's 3 pages. I won't do the repeat. So this is Bach Aria from the Goldberg Variations. This is why I prefer to memorize. I have no time. after I unclutter it, I would like to sell it, which will break my heart because I have such great memories of being here, but I don't think I don't have my mom's like knowledge and spunk to run it, and it's gonna be hard, but if any of you have any interest in it, it'll take me a while to unclutter. I've gotten that from my mom. I have a lot of clutter at my house. Not quite as much, but it's gonna be a big task that I hope to start this summer, come down like for a week every month this summer. But if any of you here, anybody that wants to buy RV park / motel or lodge or whatever, please get in touch with me. A lot of you have my number. And anybody else want to say anything? And I just thank you all for all you've done to enrich my mom's life. And whew, she loved all of you. So thank you. Okay, so with that, we'll do one more hymn. And this is the one Mom and I always sang when we lose a pet. It's Jesus Loves You. And this we would sing over the graveside with my hamster or a dog or everybody. So let me see what number it is. Thank you, 191.